Lesson 93. In this lesson, we're learning more about the verb habeo, which we first saw in the last lesson. Habeo is from the second conjugation. Notice how it has the letter E right before the final O, and the infinitive form is habere. The last three letters of habere are ere instead of are. And the basic meaning of the verb habeo is have. And the infinitive form, habere, means to have. Hopefully by now you've been chanting all of your endings for verbs. Let's take a moment right now to chant those endings yet again. Ready? Go. O, S, T, M, U, S, T, I, S, N, T. O, S, T, M, U, S, T, I, S, N, T. O, S, T, M, U, S, T, I, S, N, T. So now that we've remembered our verb endings, let's see if we can form the different forms of the verb habeo. But remember that since habeo is from the second conjugation, we're going to put the letter E before the special verb endings. So let's take a look at our chart. You can see that the first person singular form of habeo is habeo. The second person singular form is habes. Notice how the letter E comes right before the S ending. In the third person singular, we have habet. Again, notice the letter E coming right before the T ending. The first person plural form is habemus. Again, notice the letter E before the mus ending. The second person plural is habetis. Again, notice the letter E before the tis ending. And the third person plural is habent. Again, notice the letter E coming before the nt ending. And as I mentioned previously, the infinitive form is habere. So I would encourage you to chant or sing these verb forms on your own to help you memorize them. And to get some practice with these forms, let's take a look at the exercises at the bottom of the page. In exercise number 1, habeo is the verb. That means I have, and pecuniam is the direct object. So number 1 says, I have money. In number 2, habes is the verb. That means you have, and scapham is the direct object. So number 2 says, you have a boat. In number 3, habet is the verb. That means he, she, or it has, but we don't need the he, she, or it because poeta is the subject. Tabulam is the direct object. So number 3 says, the poet has a writing tablet. In number 4, the word said is dividing the sentence into two independent clauses. In the first clause, habemus is the verb. That means we have, and it's being negated by the word non, and the direct object is pecuniam. So the first clause says, we do not have money, and in the second clause, habent is the verb. That means they have, but we don't need the word they because nautai is the subject, and pecuniam is the direct object. So the second clause says, the sailors have money. So number 4 altogether says, we do not have money, but the sailors have money. In number 5, habetus is the verb. That means y'all have, and pecuniam is the direct object. So number 5 says, y'all have money. In number 6, possumus means I am able. It's being negated by the word non, so non possumus means I am not able. Navigare is an infinitive that means to sail, and circum insulam is a prepositional phrase. So number 6 says, I am not able to sail around the island. In number 7, desideras is the verb. That means you want or you long for. Edificare means to build. That's an infinitive. And kasam is the direct object. Prope actam is a prepositional phrase. So number 7 says, you want to build a house near the seashore, or you are longing to build a house near the seashore. In number 8, narat is the verb. That means he, she, or it tells, or he, she, or it is telling. But we don't need the he, she, or it because poeta is the subject. Agricolis is the indirect object, and that's in the dative plural. Fabulam is the direct object, and we have two indirect objects. Agricolis is in the dative plural, and that's an indirect object. And nautisque is in the dative plural, and that's an indirect object too. The que ending on the end of nautis connects it to the word before it. It's like putting the word and between that word and the word that came before. So number 8 says, the poet is telling a story to the farmers and to the sailors. In number 9, natant is the verb. That means they swim or they are swimming. But we don't need the word they because incoli is the subject. Incoli is being possessed by the word insularum, which is in the genitive plural. In aqua is a prepositional phrase, and saipe is an adverb. So number 9 says, the inhabitants of the islands often swim in the water. In number 10, potestas means y'all are able, and it's being negated by the word non. So non potestas means y'all are not able. Navigare is an infinitive that means to swim, and ad insulam is a prepositional phrase. So number 10 says, y'all are not able to swim to the island.